I've spent over 200 hours playing the Persona games, and the more I played and the more I knew, the less enjoyment I got out of the game. And let me explain, because it's probably not for the reasons you think. I'm aware this is a problem that probably stems from my own completionist mind, but it's also about playing a game for fun versus the pressure some of us have to play a game in a perfect way in order to experience all the content. Persona 5 was the first Persona game I've ever played. I went in knowing absolutely nothing, and at the time, this was the original release, so no Royal Edition, no DLC, just the base game. And despite having no real idea how social links worked or even what personas to use when, I was absolutely hooked. I played Persona 5 in a way that would probably make some of you cringe. Sometimes I just go straight to bed without engaging in any activity, and other times I spend time with only one or two characters simply because they were the ones I liked. I was playing wrong in terms of game progression and optimization, probably missing character development and additional story moments. But here's the thing. Playing this way, not knowing any better, I had a blast. Looking back, ignorance really was bliss. When I chose to hang out with someone for the third time in a row instead of starting a new social link, it was because I genuinely enjoyed their character arc. Every choice felt natural and personal. I wasn't optimizing, I was experiencing. Discovering new things actually felt rewarding, and finding out that certain personas could be fused together wasn't information I felt like I had to memorize from a checklist. When I stumbled upon a social link I hadn't yet seen late game, it was exciting. I wasn't wondering how I was going to level it up in the small amount of time I had left. Fast forward to Persona 3 Reload. Armed with slightly more knowledge about the series mechanics, and now knowing I knew I hadn't experienced everything Persona 5 had to offer, I wanted to do better. So I found the guide. Of course I used guides before, but this was a comprehensive day-by-day schedule that would let me experience most of the game's content in one single playthrough. Everything was planned for me, even down to the personas I might be wanting to take into a new section for an upcoming boss. I thought playing perfectly would be the best way to play. It wasn't. Following the guide eliminated all guesswork, but it also eliminated all the fun. Playing Persona 3 felt like checking items off a to-do list rather than playing through a story. It became a job. Discovering new social links felt overwhelming instead of exciting. I couldn't just work every night for money in order to get better accessories or just take the dog for a walk to get unique items, because that meant missing out on maximizing a social link by the end of the game. The worst part? I started seeing some of the opportunities in the game as obstacles. That cutscene where a character opens up about their past, I'm checking the guide to see if this is the correct day to advance the social link or if I should be doing something else. Someone texts me wanting to hang out? Sorry, can't do that. The guide says I need to be studying to hit the specific academic stats required for something soon. I knew exactly when every social link would unlock, which personas I should be fusing, and even which dialogue choices would give me the most points. There were no surprises, no discoveries, no moments of, I wonder what would happen if I did this. What was once a compelling character-driven experience had become work. This raised a fascinating question to me about game design, particularly in JRPGs with a massive amount of optional content. Is Persona's wealth of activities meant to offer variety so players can choose what personally interests them? That may seem obvious enough, but what about players who want both organic exploration and to experience everything the game has to offer? This revealed how fundamentally different completionist and casual gaming mindsets are. As a completionist, I wasn't just playing Persona, I was attempting to master it. Every unfinished social link felt like a personal failure. Every unused day felt like wasted potential. Should players who want to see everything be expected to play these 80+ hour games multiple times? Not everyone has hundreds of hours to dedicate to one game, and the alternative can transform gaming into mechanical efficiency. Here's the thing. The developers probably never intended for players to see everything in a single playthrough. The social links aren't designed as a checklist to complete. They're designed as relationships to explore based on your interests. But that doesn't make the completionist urge any less real. When a game presents systems that can be optimized, players are going to naturally want to optimize them. The dilemma here isn't inherently the game's fault. I know it's my completionist brain demanding that I play in statistically the best way possible, but it does highlight a broader design challenge. So how do you create games that satisfy both casual explorers and completionists without forcing either group to compromise on their preferred playstyle? Do you think Persona already does this well? Perhaps the solution lies in more forgiving time management systems that allow for both exploration and completion without requiring exact time precision. But then again, maybe that strict scheduling is part of what makes the Persona games feel realistic and unique. because just like in real life, you can't do everything, but it also does create the fear of missing out. There's no easy answer here. Game developers can't design around every player's psychological quirks, but completionist tendencies also aren't inherently wrong. Instead of using a guide as a crutch to avoid missed content, I've learned that it's probably best for me to go in search of specific information like, how do I unlock the social link, instead of, what should I do for every single day for the next 80 hours? Most importantly, I've started to question whether completing a game is even a meaningful concept for a game like Persona. These games are about experiences and character relationships, not checkboxes and min-maxing. Although I've since finished Persona 3 Reload with the guide, it didn't feel as fun. I missed out on the joy of making choices that felt mine. Every decision was essentially someone else's decision that I was just executing. My journey through the Persona games has reminded me that sometimes the best way to play isn't always the most fun. Sometimes the pursuit of seeing everything can prevent us from truly experiencing anything. Thanks for watching, and if you like videos like this, feel free to subscribe. I also post game reviews and recommendations here and on TikTok.